Hello there, my name is Sippy, so you can call me B, and welcome back to some more Winter's Wish. I may have made a mistake, because I had finished this guy's route, moved on to the next guy's route, and, well, I guess I didn't download the last stream where I actually finished this route, because I can't find it anywhere. So I'm redoing it. Yay! I literally made a whole other Switch account just for making up these things. But yeah, yay! Isn't that great? Okay, let's go. He pulled me towards him before I had any time to answer, pressing my face up against his chest. Darn, I wish y'all could see my original reactions and stuff too, cause shit went down, man. He hugged the wall, using his body to hide me. I think they're gone. This is, Only Wabon were out patrolling, but we gave them the slip. Gotcha, right. Understood why he did it. Even so, the way we were positioned still made me so nervous, my whole body tensed up. The look on Tojo's face said he was puzzled by my awkward behavior. Something up? No, not really. I mumbled this while looking down at the ground, but he seemed to realize what was going on, and I need to speed this shit up. I see. Guess this dance would be intense for a girl of your age. What, can't stop thinking about it? Don't tease me. Let's hurry up and head over to the city warehouse. I attempted to walk away to play it off, but then Tojo grabbed my hand. Wait, calm down. I am calm. Let me go. The warehouse isn't that way. It's this way. Oh. I stood corrected. Apparently I wasn't calm at all. Stay calm. Stay fucking calm. We arrived at the same city warehouse as before. It was so quiet the entire way there you could have heard a pin drop, and we didn't run into a single person in town. Much of the warehouse had burned down, and there was still a faint scorched smell in the air. Although the building was supposed to be off limits, thankfully for us, nobody was standing guard. We made it in easily. That was kind of anticlimactic. I figured they would have a pretty tight security here since it's such an important crime scene. Probably impossible for only Wabon and the Shogunate at the moment. I feel bad for them. Lightfall appearing, convicts escaping. They got their hands full. You say it like it has nothing to do with us, but isn't the latter our fault? Well, we wouldn't have had the manpower to break into the city warehouse otherwise. All's well that ends well. We immediately got to work searching the warehouse as we talked. There was nothing but rubble all around. I peeked through it, pushing things aside while checking for anything unusual. Wonder if there was a cursed object swathed in black threads anywhere around here. Fat chance it would be that easy, though. Immediately finds it. I wasn't watching my step while walking around, looking at everything. I accidentally tripped on a piece of debris. Oops, you alright? Without a second's delay, Tojo caught me from behind. Feeling him against my back when I didn't expect it made my entire face turn red. Thank you. I couldn't so much as turn around even while awkwardly thanking him. My heart was pounding wildly over his warmth, which I could feel through my kimono. Somehow managed to keep it to myself when he pressed me against the wall, but I couldn't hide my inner turmoil after touching this way multiple times in a row. And if you say pressed up against me longer than before, watch your step. Pretty sure I said something along those lines to you before. Oh, yeah, you have. Can you let go? Right, he helped me out earlier when I nearly fell. And all it did was make my feelings for him grow even stronger. Almost instantly, I remembered the emotions I felt at the time. Shut my eyes tight, feeling my love for him course through me. No, I can't. At this rate, Tojo and I'll be... No, I can't even think about it. I turned him down. Even though I tried to let go of my feelings for him, I still couldn't get him out of my head. Get out of my head, get out of my head, get out of my head. This is gonna make things weird. I need to move away from him and quick. I'm fine now, so... Flustered to place my hand on Tojo's arm. Fine, you say. CJ. Kept me from moving away, pulling me even deeper into his embrace. You don't seem fine to me. His breath tickled my earlobes. The sensation sent a shiver down my spine. I had zero doubt that I was red all the way to my neck by now, not just my face. I could feel my temperature steadily rising. You know, you stiffened up like this in my arms when we slipped past the patrol earlier, too. His hands came from behind me, gliding up my arms, shoulders, and then my neck, gently caressing me. Imagine she's like, I liked you better before you got, your memories and stuff back. I like the whole you not being interested in me thing. I thought that was hot. Oh, jeez. Are you feeling self-conscious around me? Because I'm a man. I don't know. Let go of me. Okay, then. You released me just like that. Huh? What's wrong? You said to let go of you, so I did. Oh, I did. Thanks. It was over so soon, I was almost disappointed. That was a surprise. Thought he was going to do more. Wait, I'm glad nothing else happened. Was he teasing me? Felt like he left my heart in the dust. Now go on back to dust, he grinned at me. What? Not enough for you? You're actually a little perv, aren't you? He probably was teasing me after all. I glared at him, my eyes a little watery. Don't tease me. I'm not. I'm serious about you, Soap. I'm so serious about you, I won't do anything that would make you hate me. I want to be sincere with you, always. Sincere? We did only end up in that position because he tried to help me when I tripped, so he didn't have any lewd intentions, right? He stepped over and whispered into my ear. As much as I love to touch more, I won't go any further for now, so relax. Hey yo, y'all got a job to do, hey yo. His lips grazed my earlobe. Ugh! It tickled and took me by surprise. I yanked myself away from him. I mean, your ears are in a rockiness zone, I'm pretty sure. You can call yourself serious and sincere all you want, but that won't get me to cave. Playing hard to get? Although I could see some reluctance in his eyes as he stared at me, Tojo looked rather content. Sheesh, let's get on with the investigation. This isn't the time to be puttering around. Sure, otherwise it won't be a next time for you, and... Oh. Komami! She saw the whole thing. When I looked, I saw Komami's face poking out of my kimono sleeve. She was glaring at Tojo, looking a tiny bit scared. Yup. Oh no. I need to turn back on Komami's voice. I'm not gonna do all her chaps. I know. Don't look at me like that. I won't tease Soup. I couldn't help but laugh a bit, seeing a tiny sparrow make him flinch. I just want her to like me, man. And stop pecking me. A little while after we finally restarted our investigation. I spotted a straw effigy behind some debris. Tojo, I found an effigy! Really? The effigy, burned and a bit sooty from the fire, had fallen to the ground with all the other rubble. I'd almost walked right past it. I picked it up and handed it to Tojo. It's not in a box like the one on the roof of Chiyoda Castle, but it's covered in black threads too. Is this definitely a bewitched object that was used to summon the Bloodfall? Nice find, Soup. He carefully probed around the inside of the straw effigy. As I suspected, he discovered 5 fingernails inside. I couldn't bear to look at the nails, which were covered in black congealed blood. After carefully examining the effigy for a little while, Tojo uttered something. Can't be. Did you figure something out? Maybe the frequent Bloodfall appearances all over Samurai Town were part of an experiment testing long-range summoning using these straw effigies. An experiment? My voice almost cracked at the unbelievable thing he just said. The culprit was probably nearby, watching to see if the Bloodfall would be summoned by using an effigy. Once they were able to determine it actually worked, they placed one somewhere far away and carried out the main event from a distance. And by a main event, you mean the attack on Lord Yoshimune? Exactly. The kid we took in at the beginning might have been forced to summon a Bloodfall near the straw effigy as an experiment. Which is why we found the effigy near this warehouse, just like the kid we took in. Speaking of which, the oyster catcher I picked up back then was somewhere around here. My guess is that the oyster catcher and the effigy were together at first. Then where are the rest of the children? That I don't know. However, after pausing to think for a moment, Tojo continued. Earlier, my guess was that they split up the kids before hiding them. I might have been wrong about that. Huh? Wrong? If you get so... Apologies. If you can summon Bloodfall from afar using these straw effigies, then they don't need to move them. Doesn't it make more sense to hide all the kids in the same place and make it easier to control them? Scattering straw effigies around town means they can make Bloodfall appear just about anywhere they want. Which begs the question, what would be the most convenient place to hide a large group of children? It definitely would be more convenient for the kidnapper to keep them all in one place. Somewhere you could hide an entire group of kids. Where would that be? Anyway, let's investigate wherever Bloodfall had spawned so far. If we do, there's a chance we'll also find effigies nearby. Sure, it might help us find wherever they're hiding the kids. My heart swelled with hope. Let's go check out the other crime scenes right away. Ah, there you are! Hey! Figures you were here. Oh, it's Tominari and Tanichibo. You managed to link up in one piece? Ooh. It wasn't just Tominari and Tanichibo heading our way, however. Oh, it's Chie. Behind them was a familiar face. Chie. Huh? Why is Chie here when she made a point of avoiding us? She looked very solemn, which made sense since her child was missing, but I have a feeling that that wasn't the only reason why. Tojo, there's something I would like to ask you. Me? Yes, if you don't mind. I saw a quiet determination and a fire burning in her eyes. Afterwards, we were invited to the Tamba estate. Chie regarded Tojo with an expression so serious it was almost frightening. Allow me to get straight to the point. Please give the children back. Just as I suspected, I knew that had to be what she wanted to say. The police and the shogunate were already trying everything possible to find the children, but they still haven't come back home. Chie was so worried about her son, she decided to directly confront the person she suspected to be at the fault. That is Tojo. What could your objective possibly be? Money? If it's money, how much do I need to give you before you return the children? Are they safe? Where have you hidden them? An earnest plea. Even though I knew Tojo didn't do it, it still struck a chord with me. I'd really like to defend Tojo and say he didn't do it, but this doesn't seem like a good time to butt in. Tominari and Tanichibo were also in attendance, silently watching Chie bear her emotions. Chie was clenching her fist so tightly I could see the veins popping up on her hands. And veins popping up on more veins, and veins on veins. I'm sure she was actually terrified. And yet, well, you can tell, right? Look what a color of her threads. And yet, here she was, bargaining for her child, scared but also fully prepared to die. Please, calm down, Chie. I completely understand that I'm under suspicion, but I didn't do it. Do you expect me to fall for that? I'm very sorry that I wasn't able to protect the kids. I'm in the middle of doing everything I can to find leads. Please believe me, I... Believe you? How dare you say something so brazen? Brazen? Jay stood up all of a sudden, furious. Brazzers? You're clearly behind all this, and yet here you are suggesting you had nothing to do with it? I know you've been up to something at the temple school recently. If you hadn't, the part of the wall where there used to be a sliding door wouldn't have been painted over. What she just said caught my attention. Tojo seemed to be thinking the same thing. The part of the wall where there used to be a sliding door? I'm sorry, but what do you mean? Don't play dumb. There's a hole in the sliding door. A hole? When I muttered this in confusion, Chie cocked her head curiously. Did Hikomaru not mention this to you? Hikomaru? That's your son, right, Chie? Yes. If you recall, you came running over to us while everyone else was working on their oyster catchers. I'd taken him to the restroom. Hikomaru put a hole in the screen. I went to apologize directly, but I didn't have time and had to go home. I told Hikomaru to apologize on his own. Do you mean to say he never told you? No, this is the first I'm hearing of it. Is that right? I sincerely apologize for my rather rude behavior. Wait, was that what she was talking about back then? The days I spent at the temple school came rushing back to me. Pardon me, but did something happen? Oh, no, I'm sorry for shouting. I must have been so loud. No worries. More importantly, what happened exactly? My sincerest apologies. To tell the truth, I... Understood. Hikomaru, talk to her on your own later. Yes, Mother. So that's what she was so flustered about at the time. Chie told us that she'd gone to the temple school recently, seeking clues about the children's whereabouts. She remembered the hole her son left in the sliding door and stopped by to check on it. But when she got there, the sliding door was gone, which was a regular wall. Which is why I thought you'd done some work on the wall where the sliding door you had been. So she has a different poster back then. But before there's a circle. Or a scroll? I don't know. I didn't touch the sliding door though. Perhaps you're mistaken? That's not possible. Who else could have changed the structure of the building? What exactly were you trying to do over there? Chie's claim made sense to me. Considering that it made sense that the sliding door was fresh out on Chie's mind. Just then Tominari, who's been watching up until that point, slowly began to speak. Pardon me, although I understand what you're saying, Kunitaka wouldn't have been able to interfere with the sliding door. He was forbidden from entering the school. I've been tailing him as well, meaning there was no way he could have sneaked in. It's also not necessarily true that the people currently running the school were decorated. What do you mean? Tojo didn't enter the school, but if Chie's claim is correct... Something obviously is up here. Makes sense to think it might have had something to do with the case, you know. True. Sounds like we need to check out the scene one more time. We then asked Chie to show us where to find the missing sliding door at the temple school. Afterwards, Just as we were close to arriving at the temple school, we saw Kyoshira's hawk circling the sky above us. It's keeping watch over the area around the temple school. Wary of the hawk, we hid behind a building. Once the hawk finally decided nothing was amiss, it flew away. Yep. Yeah, looks like it's gone. We took the opportunity to sneak into the school. It's been about a month since the last time I was here. Not one thing has changed. The last time I was here, I was playing with the children in peace. At the time, I had no idea things would turn out this way. Unfortunately, however, I didn't have time to get sentimental. Chie showed us the place she mentioned before. This is where the sliding door used to be. Here? The only thing there was a spotless, clean wall. Tojo cocked his head quizzically. I felt like doing that too. Hasn't this wall always been here? But according to Chie, it used to be a sliding door. No, it was definitely a wall, wasn't it? I stood there looking at it, my memory a jumbled mess. I felt the wall gingerly, which was rough to the touch. I could confirm there was definitely a wall in front of me. It's just a wall, right? I guess Chie just misremembered. Just then I saw a flicker of movement out of the corner of my eye. Huh? Oh, black threads! I spotted black threads sticking out from beneath the wall, coming from inside. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. Inside the wall. Of course, there's gotta be a room on the other side. There was a room here! And just like Chie said, there used to be a door too. I forgot all about it until I saw the black thread sticking out. I pulled on Tojo and Tominari's sleeves and let them know, speaking quietly so Junichibo and Chie didn't hear what I'm realizing just now. A room here? Hasn't there always been a wall here? Try to remember, guys. Didn't there used to be a door here before and a room behind it? It was turned into a wall behind the room behind it. There used to be a sliding door here, I'm sure of it. When I brought this to their attention, Tominari and Tojo's expressions slowly turned to looks of stunned surprise, like they were slowly waking up. Come to think of it, there definitely was a sliding door here before. Completely forgot until you mentioned it, Soup. How did we forget until just now? It was definitely odd. All three of us had forgotten there used to be a sliding door here, not to mention the existence of a room that had to be on the other side. I didn't remember the sliding door or the room until I saw the black threads. Seems like a weird way of forgetting something. Was it really something we would all forget in the same unnatural way? It's almost like we were cursed. I got a bad feeling about this. Huh? Did you figure something out? Maybe we actually were cursed, like Tominari just said. Tojo pointed at the wall when he said Tominari's name, which was all it took for him to pick up on Tojo's signal. I see. Understood. So it's cold. I want a hoodie. I see. Understood. Oh! The second Tominari thrust his sword into the wall before us, it transformed into a sliding door. Whoa! The wall turned into a door! What is this? Some kind of witchcraft? It's the other way around. It was under a spell until just now. The wall never existed. He said this while touching the sliding door with his hand. We saw the door as a wall, accepted as fact, and completely forgot about the room because someone cast a spell on us. Thanks to the enchantment, we weren't able to realize it was even possible on our own until just now. We can see the real sliding door now because I lifted the enchantment with my snow sacrament. Huh. Oh, here's where my son put a hole in the screen. I'm absolutely certain this is the same door. Jay said excitedly after pointing at the hole in the sliding door. None of us could hide how shocked we were by this unexpected development. Still, this was a huge step towards solving the case. Tojo gave a satisfied nod. We have Chie and Soup to thank for helping us figure out this door existed. Huh? But I didn't...
Would have never known about the sign door if she hadn't remembered the hole in the screen. Nothing would have seemed unusual about the door being a wall. And since you were here to see the emotional imprints and you helped us remember there was a room behind it. You were saying this out loud? We were only able to lift the kidnapping god's enchantment once those two coincidences overlapped. Excellent work, Soap. Sorry, I seem to be having a little trouble speaking. Yeah, I'm gonna drink some water.
As embarrassed as I was hearing him say this, I could feel myself cracking a smile. I never thought I'd be of any use for something like this. Chie was absolutely astonished. She probably never thought she played such an important role either.
Problem is, whatever's in the room, it's gotta be something important that they went through the trouble of hiding it with an enchantment, you know?
Probably. I was just about to say the same thing.
Beat you to it! Either way, we lifted the enchantment. We'll find out what's inside once we open the door.
Tojo promptly reached for the door handle. Just before he could open the door, a blightfall appeared directly behind us.
What?
The second my mind registered what I was looking at, that I was looking at a blightfall, I instinctively started staring at it. I've gotten more used to doing this lately. I see black threads on it too. Another summoned blightfall. Tojo and Tominari immediately sprang into action. A monster! Chie, come this way! I wasted no time taking Chie somewhere she could safely take shelter.
Come and get it! Although you don't have to come and get it, if that's an option.
It'll be hard enough to protect both Soup and Chie while fighting, assuming we leave Tanichibo to fend for himself.
Hey, I can hear you.
Blightfall remained still in a guarded stance, cautiously watching our every move. Tojo and Tominari briefly exchanged a few words without taking their eyes off the Blightfall.
Tominari, let's create an opening and retreat.
To search the school?
Now's not the time to continue our search. Can't allow Chie, who isn't a part of the only one, to get dragged into battle. Plus, the summoning of a Blightfall means the kidnapping god knows we broke in.
Meaning they're bound to show up sooner or later.
It's almost nightfall too. If the kidnapping god is a Blightfall, the powers will only get stronger at this time of day. The odds are against us.
The two of them decided not to resume the fight in the end.
Let's retreat for now. When I give the signal, take Chie and flee as fast as your legs can carry you.
Got it. I glanced at the sliding door, reluctant to leave it unexplored. Not much we can do besides run, although I'm really curious about what's in the hidden room.
If they went out of their way to use witchcraft to hide it somewhere conspicuous like the school, then it won't be easy for them to up and move everything. We might be leaving for a little while, but I highly doubt they'll be able to move anything the second we go. We'll have to come back and check it out.
Okay. I'll distract him with a Hurrikedama. When he recoils, run for it. Alright, here I go! Tominari threw a Hurrikedama at the Blightfall. Now, run! With a shout at our signal, I urged Chie to run with me. The others didn't waste any time fleeing either. I'd never seen a bomb before. It got more punch than I expected. These thoughts were on the back of my mind as I ran. We come this far out, maybe we've run far enough to be okay.
Watch out!
Tojo's hand skimmed just past my head. For a second, I wasn't quite sure what just happened. I looked closely and saw a piece of tile in his grip.
Ooh, that was really close to hitting you. You're not hurt, are you?
No, thank you so much. I finally understood what happened. He saved me from getting hit by a piece of tile sent flying by the explosion. Even at a time like this, it made my heart soar to think he protected me. I'm sure Tojo would have done the same for anyone else since he's so nice, but It would have helped anyone who wasn't in immediate danger, not just me. You know, like Chie or any of the children from the temple school.
I'm glad you weren't hurt.
He stroked my cheek with the palm of his large hand. Felt my body temperature shoot up at this unexpected bit of physical contact. The way he does that is so unfair. He would have helped anyone, but the way he was touching me, I knew that was reserved for me alone. I thought it was strangely satisfying.
Anyway, that was a pretty big explosion. Kurokadama might be too powerful to use as a distraction. You should have done a distract dance instead.
Huh? It was a little stronger than I expected. Probably a good idea to consider when to use them more carefully. Let's split already! Another monster might attack us if we don't! Let's scram! He followed his suggestion and left immediately. Skedaddle! After we promised Chie that we'll figure out the rest, she went back home. Seeing the enchantment for herself and being attacked by an actual Blightfall made her a little more inclined to believe Tojo. Once we seen her off, we found ruins that were perfect for camping out. It must not have been abandoned for long because the inside wasn't too dilapidated. We decided to rest there for the day.
I'm back. There was nothing unusual going on at the school.
Welcome back. Thanks for keeping watch. I hope Tanichibo will be okay keeping watch on his own.
He probably will. You wouldn't think it looking at him, but he did go through Yamabushi monk training. He'll probably do better than the average person.
You said probably twice. The men were taking turns keeping an eye on the temple school. We were afraid that if too much time passed, the kidnapping god would take additional countermeasures. We had to act quickly.
I was a little worried the police or the Oniwaban would come running because of the explosion, but thankfully they didn't notice.
Probably only because no one lives around here anymore. It's also possible they did hear a loud noise but thought it was a Blightfall and were too scared to approach. That definitely could be. Seeing as though the Oniwaban didn't come, Kyoshiro's hawk must have gone back home since it was almost sunset. Seemed like a stroke of good luck that the massive explosion went completely unnoticed.
The temple school is dangerous right now anyway. If no one's getting close to it, even better. We don't have time to waste though. Let's march back in there tomorrow morning. The other thing we have left to do is figure out how we'll communicate our plan to the Oniwaban.
Because it'd be reckless to fight an enemy capable of causing something of this magnitude on our own. Do you think they might send backup if we explain the situation to them? I could serve as the messenger if needed. Even if we did notify them right away, they would just punish us. This is the best we can do to keep the kidnapping god from getting away.
If we're telling them, we should do it right before we head out. I'll send Tanichibo with a letter explaining the important bits. No way, I know an easier way.
An easier way?
Yoshiro's hawk. It's not flying around right now because we can't see well in the dark. But it'll be back in the morning to keep an eye on the school.
True. Kyoshiro would know exactly what's going on if the hawk sees us.
They might still be suspicious of us, but the Oniwaban would back us up if they got there and found us already flying in Blightfall. There's still time to clear our names.
That was all we decided to do for now. After a while, Tominari headed over to the temple school to take over guard duty. Tojo and I watched him go, then decided to go get some rest. Come on, May. You've been such a good girl today. Kamame must have been exhausted because she was already half asleep. I set her on top of a cushion in the corner of the room. The fluffy cushion must have been comfortable because she fell asleep right where I sat her down. Alright then, guess I'll go to sleep here. It might be a little chilly sleeping without a blanket, but I can't expect too much in a situation like this. Tojo came over.
Hey, Soap, if you're gonna lie down, use this.
He handed me a cozy-looking sleeping kimono. Where'd you get this from?
It was over in that closet. It didn't sit right with me making a girl your age sleep directly on the tatami mat, so I looked around for something.
Thank you so much. Touched by his thoughtfulness, I gratefully accepted the sleeping kimono. By the looks of it, there was only one sleeping kimono. He might be a vessel, but he'll probably still get cold sleeping like that. Tojo, want to get in with me? I asked out of sincere concern for him, not paying it too much thought.
Are you sure?
He asked back, looking surprisingly serious. It was then I understood the implication of my question. Shoot! It was pretty bold of me to ask him if he wanted to share the same Betty. My face turned red with embarrassment, but I wasn't about to retract what I just said. I wouldn't want you to catch a cold, so I don't mind.
Gotcha.
Duh. Sitting side by side, Tojo and I put the sleeping kimono over our shoulders. He's so close. Even though I'd given him permission, feeling the warmth of his body right up against mine made me hopelessly nervous.
Are you nervous? Maybe I should get out then.
I'm not. Don't worry about it, it's fine. I could tell saying this put a smile on his face.
I'll take you up on your offer then.
He pulled me close and wrapped his arm around my waist. Tojo?
I won't go any further than this. I won't go any further than this. I don't plan to hit on you to give in. Please, just relax.
Doesn't this count as hitting on me? I bit my tongue because I had a feeling if I complained, he'd just treat me like a little kid. More importantly, I didn't really mind it. Once I was used to it, I found his warmth reassuring and cozy.
You already know this, but come tomorrow, we'll be facing off against the kidnapping god.
I nodded solemnly.
I'm not sure we'll get the only one Bond's cooperation, and we don't have many people on our side. Never mind whether or not we'll win this fight. Right now, the only way we can solve this case is to keep pushing forward. I want to win this to pay you, Tomonari, and Tanichibo back for helping me. And we're absolutely going to rescue the kids.
Yes, we will. I'll do everything I can to help.
Don't push yourself too hard. Although I do feel reassured knowing you'll be there for me.
We both leaned in, our shoulders touching. He was here, right now, without a shadow of a doubt. I could definitely feel him here with me. But all of a sudden, I felt nervous. I still had no idea when he might vanish. Your body's still okay, right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'd be really mad if he disappeared without saying anything to me.
You got me scared now. I won't.
Let's solve this case quickly, then get that figured out.
I'm sure you and I will make it work.
It made me so happy to hear him say you and I. So he's relying on me? The thought filled my heart with a warm, fuzzy feeling. Spurred on by it, I began to speak. I've been working hard because I want to save your life, Tojo. I'm also worried about the children, of course, and I'd like to protect Edo too. But your life is just as important. No, even more important to me.
Soap.
I'm fighting for our future together. That was a rather roundabout way of putting it, even for me. But it still took everything I had to say it.
For our future together, huh? I couldn't be happier to hear that. Guess I'll have to survive and make you fall for me then.
He said, then gripped me a little tighter around the waist.
You saved me countless times. It would have been reverted to an object long time ago if it hadn't been for you. You're always so positive, serious about everything, and considerate. That's why I find you so attractive. If If I hadn't met you, I probably wouldn't have regained my heart either. I'm glad I did, though. I'd be much happier ceasing to exist while being madly in love with you than to stay alive as a vessel having never met you. Oh.
Please don't mention not existing anymore. You're asking for it.
My bad. I just really wanted to tell you how I felt. I owe who I am now to you. Thank you, Soup.
If that's how you feel, then live. Because I don't think I could go on without you. Press my cheek into his collar to express my love, which was growing stronger every second. Aww. The next morning, we all headed back to the temple school.
It's almost time. Everyone ready?
I am. I'm ready to go anytime. Oh yeah, I'm excited! Choo-choo! She's ready too. The lineup included myself, Tojo, Tomonari, Tanichibo, and last but not least, Komame. I wasn't sure whether to bring Komame with us into such a dangerous fight, but she was so determined to come that she wouldn't have stayed behind. She must realize this is a critical juncture for us. They'd taken turns all night keeping watch over the temple school, but saw no signs of any movement inside. That is to say, whatever the kidnapping god hid with an enchantment was still inside. But at that moment, Kiyoshiro's hawk flew over to patrol the area. After circling the sky and thoroughly confirming that it saw us, it flew away.
Must be leaving to tell Kiyoshiro and the rest that we're here at the school.
Do you really think they'll come?
I'm sure they will, to arrest us. But I bet they'll jump in to help when they see us battling a Blightfall.
We sneaked into the school and made our way over to the door with the hole in it. It was still a sliding door, just like it had been yesterday. It wasn't a wall. If the enchantment's still gone, does that mean... Did the kidnapping god give up guarding this room?
I hope so. Doesn't look like they laid any traps, at least.
Tojo said, when suddenly falling into a trap. Tojo said, then carefully placed his hand on the handle of the sliding door. We stepped inside, but couldn't see anything around us because of how dim it was. Tojo set foot in the room first, followed by Tomonari, myself, and Tanichibo, in that order. No signs of the enemy hiding inside. While looking around, I spotted 9 large black cocoon-like objects in the back of the room. Upon closer inspection, the room was dark because it was covered in a thick web of black threads. I needed to tell them, and soon. There's some black cocoon-like things in the room.
But what are they? They're way too big to be actual cocoons.
Maybe cocoons for children. I thought I might be the only one who could see them, but apparently everyone else could too. Like, the whole, oh, of course I'm gonna mention My Little Pony. I think I did this in the actual stream too. But, I think it was the season 2 finale. The royal wedding one with the changeling queen. She, like, puts them in, like, cocoons. Oops. It looks like there's something inside the cocoons. When I strained my eyes, I could barely make out what was inside them.
Wait, there.
I realized their true contents after Tojo and Tomonari had already figured it out. Are the children inside? They were the missing children, literally right under our noses. I can't believe they were being hidden at the school all along. Tojo's guess that the culprit probably hid them all in one place made it make it easier to control them was spot on. If we can see them, does that mean these threads aren't normal emotional imprints?
Let's think about that later. We need to save them, quickly.
But just then, everyone flicked around when we heard a sound behind us. Tanichibo? Before I knew it, Tanichibo, who had been at the very rear, was gone. Huh? That's odd. He was just there a moment ago. Tanichibo? Where are you? Puzzled, I left the room.
Hey, don't go too far.
But Tanichibo... Uh-huh. The second I left the room, I saw the most unbelievable thing. A black cocoon? I was confused. Something that wasn't there a moment ago had appeared out of nowhere. As soon as they saw my reaction, Tojo and Tominari exited the room as well. Another cocoon over here.
Hey, someone's inside this one too.
Is it Tanichibo? Tanichibo was inside the cocoon in the hallway. He seemed to be unconscious. The kidnapping god must have gotten him. I can't believe it managed to do this without us even realizing. The very next moment.
Soup, get back! It's here!
Tojo cut the swath of black threads that launched out of him out of nowhere in two. Over there! Tominari sliced through the black threads with a single stroke of his sword. I looked in the direction of the swath of threads that had come from and saw a huge black shadow there. Something huge was peering in at us from outside, although I couldn't make out any details other than the fact that it was a black shadow. No, that's not a shadow. It was a blightfall, bigger than any I'd ever seen before. Not only was it so large that you had to look up to get a good look at it, but it was so dark it almost seemed to absorb all the light around it. Upon squinting, I could tell its body consisted of black threads. Attached to its head was a mask, its weak spot and the only part of its body with any distinctive features. It was altogether eerie. My legs nearly gave out beneath me out of fear. I think this might be the kidnapping god. Tojo and Tominari had probably intuited the same thing. They readied their swords again and put a bit more distance between themselves and the blightfall.
Are you the mastermind behind these incidents?
The kidnapping god didn't react to its question.
Why are you after Edo and Lord Yoshimune? Why do you use the children? Answer me!
The kidnapping god didn't seem to understand language. It didn't react at all. One thing is clear. This blightfall is different from any other blightfall I have ever seen. It's completely out of the ordinary. The way it was silently watching us was enough to make me want to run away. Tojo spoke to Tominari and I as he stared down the blightfall.
Listen to me, guys. We have to leave. We're at a huge disadvantage fighting in this cramped place. We can't allow any harm come to the children. If it's already done using them, there's a risk it might just level the whole school. They will all be buried alive.
If they're buried alive, they'll be buried dead soon. Got it. Let's go outside.
This way. Run for it.
We all took off running on its mark. The kidnapping god's eyes followed our movements. It shifted its body towards us. This allowed us to draw the blightfall away from the cocoons containing the children. We'll rescue you later. Just wait for us. We made it out of the temple school. The kidnapping god slowly turned towards us. This battle would decide everything. Tojo and Tominari stood at the ready. You won't make it past us.
So, go call in the Oniwabon for help. It'd be quicker if you just went to them and explained instead of waiting for them to get here.
Got it. The second I attempted to run off, however, the kidnapping god raised its arm. What's it doing? Almost immediately, shooting out of the blightfall's arm, scores of black threads cover the entire temple school in a dome in a blink of an eye. This reminds me of another episode of My Little Pony with the Alicorn Amulet with Trixie.
I think it's a magical duel. She put like a dome over
Ponyville. Of course, I talked about this during the stream too. And also the Canterlot wedding, because the protective shield around Canterlot. I'm sorry, My Little Pony was my childhood.
What's this? Some way of amplifying its powers?
Here it comes! A swath of black threads attacked us. Tojo and Tominari dodged them in the nick of time. But I... Ah!
Soup!
was caught by the black threads. I hope Kamame at least made it out. Kamame, who'd been perched on my shoulder, had barely managed to escape. Kamame, get out of here! Let go of Soup!
Hang on, we're coming for you now.
The swamp of black threads were so solid, their swords were hardly making a dent. This isn't good. The black threads must have some kind of supernatural energy coursing through them, because it smarted everywhere they touched me. I don't know. He also seemed to have a hallucinogenic effect because my mind was getting foggier by the second. Hell, guys, I'm feeling kind of... Kamame approached, seemingly worried about me. Kamame? Kamame, call for help! You're small, so the kidnapping god probably won't notice you if you go outside. Go tell Kyoshiro what's happening. Yep. You go, girl. Kamame shot me a dignified look before charging at the wall of black threads. The moment she touched the black threads, however, she was instantly repelled. Kamame! Kamame! I can't be loud. Kamame's feathers were burned to a crisp, apparently unable to withstand the cursed energy coursing through the black threads. I was relieved to hear her, however feeble she sounded. Although she couldn't move, she seemed fine otherwise.
Looks like there's some kind of powerful curse on the black threads.
I'll get it. Tominari channeled the power of the snow sacrament into his sword once more. A slice of the black thread barrier, but... my sword can't make it through! It was just like when he tried to slice through the threads biting me earlier. The black thread barrier easily repelled his sword. Realizing what the kidnapping god's intentions were sent a shiver down my spine. He cut us off from the outside world with the intent to kill us. Immobilized by the swath of black thread seizing me, there was nothing I could do. The kidnapping god swung its huge arm down in an attempt to crush the enemy. Us. Tojo and Tominari nearly avoided its attack. After swinging and missing, its arm slammed down on the ground. They moved in long, sweeping strokes due to how massive it was, giving us a chance to act before it made its next move. Tojo and Tominari didn't overlook this opportunity.
Tominari!
Got it! Two of them worked in tandem to launch an attack against the Blightfall's mask. Several swaths of black thread stretched out to prevent them from doing so.
Ugh.
If the Blightfall caught them in its threads, they wouldn't be able to escape. Tojo and Tominari seemed to know this because they kept their distance. Kidnapping God, Tojo, and Tominari were all at a standstill, watching each other's next move.
Those threads are tricky. They seem to move wherever the kidnapping god wants them to.
Judging by the way they moved when it erected the barrier, it looks like the kidnapping god can send out multiple threads at the same time. The kidnapping god is controlling them, though. The black threads aren't moving on their own.
Definitely. I mean, if we moved into the kidnapping god's blind spot to keep it from detecting us, we can avoid being captured by the threads. I'll serve as a decoy to attract his attention. Tominari used the opportunity to deliver the finishing blow with the snow sacrament.
Sure, that's probably the most realistic strategy. After they signaled to each other, only using their eyes, Tojo rushed forward first.
Over here, come and get me!
Just like we anticipated, the kidnapping god took aim at Tojo. The kidnapping god reached out with one swath of black threads after another. Tojo sidestepped them just in time, skillfully deflecting them with his sword. The swath of black threads simultaneously reached for Tominari as well.
You think I'll let you get away with that?
Tojo threw some rocks as a diversion.
Diversion! Kaminari took this opportunity to immediately close in on the kidnapping god.
This ends now. This ends when I...
Kaminari swung his sword right at the Blightfell's mask.
We did it.
But then...
Huh? It grew another mask?
He actually did manage to cut his mask in half. But an unbelievable turn of events has brought in another from its face.
I see.
It must have another weak spot besides its mask, like the other Blightfell summoned via cursed objects. I'd assumed the kidnapping god was the same as any other normal Blightfell in spite of its massive size. That didn't seem to be the case. The swath of black threads was fast approaching Tominari. Tominari, get out of the way! I forgot to turn off my notification sound. Oops. Even though Tojo yelled to him as soon as he could, Tominari wasn't able to get back on his feet in time right after launching his own attack. Unable to cut the swath of black threads away, Tominari was caught in its grip.
Tominari! Tominari!
Tominari seemed to have lost consciousness from being squeezed by the swath of black threads. That left only Tojo. The kidnapping god took aim at Tojo, then brought its fist down. Ugh. With no time to dodge, Tojo just barely managed to stop the Blightfell's fist with his sword. It wasn't clear whether his sword would snap first or the Blightfell would win their standoff. Either way, Tojo couldn't move.
Oh no, at this rate Tojo will.
Just then, sensing someone was nearby, I glanced outside the barrier and saw the rest of the only one standing outside.
Kyoshiro's hawk must have reported back to him.
Kyoshiro, Miyagi, Kuga, and Yoichi had all come. They wouldn't see Tojo as the enemy in this situation. They were bound to help.
Kyoshiro! Guys! Over here! Please help!
Outside the barrier, they were looking around like they couldn't hear my voice. Where are Kunitaka and the others? I don't see anyone else here. Maybe they already moved on. It occurred to me while watching them. Perhaps this barrier keeps them from seeing inside, just like the spell used to hide the sliding door at the temple school. If the spell's effect causes them to forget the temple school even existed here at all, then there was no hope with them finding us. But they're so close. Then I saw something small moving at the edge of the barrier. Kamame, who had been collapsed on the ground just until now, was wobbling to her feet.
Kamame! I'm glad you regained consciousness.
The situation was looking bleak. Even though Kamame was finally awake, we were all going to perish. Shortly after giving me a long, hard stare, Kamame's eyes narrowed like she just made a decision. You go, Kamame! Oh, look at...
Huh?
I blinked with surprise. Kamame flapped her wings and took off flying. Hey, let's go!
No way! She's never been able to do more than hop, let alone hop fly.
Kamame made a beeline for the barrier, then ran into it with all her might. She hit the barrier and fell into the ground, and she body slammed into the barrier again.
Kamame, stop it! What are you doing?
Kamame's body slammed the barrier over and over again, ignoring my pleas to stop. She wants to save the day, Kamame. Wait, are you trying to tell everyone outside that we're in danger? Kamame bravely continued ramming the barrier filled with purpose. As long as there's a gap in the barrier, it's definitely possible that she might be able to tell everyone outside that we're in danger, but there's no way Kamame's tiny body could withstand any more impacts. She's already been knocked to the ground just by touching the black threads earlier. Every single time she rammed the barrier of black threads, the cursed energy burned her feathers so badly they were smoking.
Cut it out! Any more and you'll die, Kamame!
It didn't seem like she planned to give up. No matter how hurt she was, she continued ramming it over and over again.
Enough, Kamame! Kamame!
I wish I could be louder. You go, girl.
Huh?
I couldn't believe my eyes! Kamame had somehow managed to break through the barrier and fly outside! Let's go! Maybe she managed to push some of the black threads out of the way with her repeated body slams. Either way, it was an absolute miracle. I could see a gaping hole where Kamame had flown outside the barrier.
Wow. You're amazing, Kamame! Kamami seemed surprised herself, but she immediately snapped out of it and flew over to Kiyoshiro. Thanks to Kamame and the loud noise of the barrier ripping open, Kiyoshiro and the others finally realized something wasn't quite right.
Aren't you the sparrow Soup was taken care of? Why are you here?
Kiyoshiro, there's a hole in the barrier. Looks like the sparrow broke through it.
The barrier did a fine job tricking us.
The sparrow looks hurt and must work very hard to do that.
Let's focus on destroying the barrier for now. Kiyoshiro swiftly drew his sword and brought it down on the hole Kamame had passed through. Yay! His slash easily made the barrier crumble, even though we'd been struggling so hard from the inside. The barrier seemed to be weak to attacks from the outside, much like the enchantment we seen on the sliding door earlier. The temple school just appeared out of nowhere. The hell's happening? As the barrier came down, the swath of black threads binding Tominari and I came unraveled as well. It appeared to be a link to the barrier somehow. Destroying the barrier must have been quite the shock to the kidnapping god as well, because he eased up his attack on Tojo. Ah! Tojo used that split second of opportunity to finally push the kidnapping god's fist back. When the force knocked the kidnapping god backwards, he swiftly distanced himself from the Blightfall. Is that... With the barrier dissolved, the temple school, us, and the kidnapping god were finally visible to Kiyoshiro and the rest of the Onryuban. Everyone, assist Kunitaka, Mitsuhige, help her, and Tominari. Kiyoshiro immediately grasped the situation and gave out orders before heading towards Tojo himself.
Soup, you okay? Same goes for you, Takamura.
I'm okay.
I'll be alright. I just lost consciousness for a little while. Anyway, let's join the others. We still have an enemy to defeat. Soup, get to safety. Got it.
Oh, right, take this.
Miyagi handed Kamame over to me. He must have picked her up off the ground after she used all her strength to make it outside. Kamame's wings were singed. She was weak, but it didn't seem like her life was in danger. And it hurt her hand.
Thank you so much.
I took Kamame from him. Tominari and Miyagi left to assist Tojo and the others. I hurried behind the temple school where I could easily see how the battle was unfolding.
Kiyoshiro, guys.
You look well. Sorry we doubted you.
I'm finally convinced I'd receive the situation for myself. Kunitaka, you were innocent after all.
Well, it makes sense that you wouldn't believe me without any evidence.
It's pretty easy to tell a friend from foe when faced with something like this. Sorry we didn't believe you, Tojo.
Apologies for what happened before. Perhaps this is a bit too convenient, but allow us to assist you.
Much obliged.
I'm glad Tojo would get to fight alongside everybody again. That alone was enough to move me to tears. The kidnapping god was clearly angry that it had even more enemies on top of its barrier being destroyed. The kidnapping god's fists and swaths of black threads came at them in every direction. The Onryuban barely managed to dodge its attacks on time.
Everyone, it's a blind spot. The kidnapping god's controlling the swaths of black threads. Get into its blind spot and we'll be able to aim them at you. Kidnapping god? Kidnapping god?
That's the nickname we gave this Blackfall.
With Tominari's advice, they were all able to easily dodge its attacks. But no matter how many times they attacked it, nothing seemed to work. Does it not have any weak spots?
It might, but we still don't know what it is.
As long as its weakness remained unclear, the Onryuban had nothing to focus their attacks on. They were just moving around aimlessly. We would never be able to take it down at this rate. I could see their impatience beginning to show on their faces. I examined the kidnapping god as closely as I could, trying to find some way to help out. Huh? Upon closer inspection, the black threads look like they're coming from its back. When the kidnapping god used black threads, new ones seemed to be shooting up from out of its back. There were so many black threads all over the place that I hadn't noticed until just now. Maybe that's where its true form is. The second I realized this, I began to shout, "Guys, aim for its back! I think the kidnapping god's weak point might be on his back!" Their scattered movements changed based on the information I provided for them. "Its back. Aim for its back." That's what I said!
I'll serve as a decoy. Go now while you still can. I'll draw its attention too.
Neither of them could use the snow sacrament, so they stayed put in front of the kidnapping god while the rest circled around behind.
Yeah. It wasn't about to let them stroll up to its weak point, however.
It spread black threads out like a shield, protecting its backside. They couldn't go behind it anymore. Not to mention...
Another Blyfall?
The children had been commanded to summon a Blyfall from afar, it seemed. Only one Blyfall appeared, with no signs of any others on the horizon. It seemed like there was only one cursed oyster catcher nearby. But they already have their hands full with the kidnapping god. This doesn't look good. Tojo must have thought the same thing because he spoke to Kuga.
Lacey Gijuro, I can't use the snow sacrament anymore.
Really now?
I can't deliver the finishing blow. When the time comes, I'll need you to lend me your strength. Thanks.
Understood. Leave it to me.
After confirming his comrade would be relied on, Tojo dashed towards the kidnapping god. Tojo, what are you? For a moment, I was worried he was sacrificing himself. Changed my mind almost immediately. He'd be fine. He wasn't going to die. He promised me he was going to live after all. The kidnapping god seemed unconcerned Tojo was charging from the front. He probably thought he was acting as a decoy, following everyone else to attack from behind.
Tomonari, Yuso Hurakudama.
Tomonari seemed to realize what Tojo was implying. Tojo readied his sword and took a leap.
Here I go.
Instead of throwing it at the kidnapping god, Tomonari threw the Horakudama, but just behind Tojo. Oh, for leverage.
Whoa!
The shockwave pushed Tojo forward, causing him to accelerate. With his momentum propelling him, he stabbed the kidnapping god in his stomach. The tip of his sword passed all the way through to its back. Oh, just because its weak point's on his back doesn't mean we have to attack it from behind. Makes no difference if you pierce it through the front.
Ooh.
Since Tojo couldn't use the snow sacrament, he couldn't finish it all. As proof the hole in his sword as proof the hole his sword made was quickly filling back in.
Genjuro!
Wait.
Kugo heeded Tojo's call and charged towards the kidnapping god. He was aiming for the hole Tojo had created. Kuga attacked it with lightning speed, destroying its weak spot, which caused the Blyfall to let out one final unearthly shriek. The kidnapping god stopped dead in its tracks. It began to lose shape, like a thread slowly being unraveled, before finally vanishing. The Blyfall it summoned disappeared almost simultaneously. The only one watched this happen in complete shock. Did we do it? It still didn't feel real. The kidnapping god was nowhere to be found. Oh, the emotional imprints! The emotional imprints I used to see all over the town had vanished into thin air. Did something happen to them? The emotional imprints. They're all gone. If this was any sign, the emotional imprints had probably disappeared all over Edo. The kidnapping god was probably the main cause of all the Blightfall attacks that's been happening. Tonari and the rest of the only one nodded along to my explanation, thoroughly convinced. It finally hit me. We'd won our battle against the kidnapping god and defended Edo. That reminds me, what happened to Chojo? Might have been part of his strategy all along, but he'd still been caught in an explosion. Was he okay? Tojo! I ran over to him in a panic. He fallen onto his knees, clearly exhausted.
Soup, Are you alright?
I'm fine. I'm more worried about you, Tojo.
He seemed to have sustained some painful burns on his back. Made me teary-eyed just looking at him.
We gotta get your wounds treated right away.
This is nothing. I'll be fine.
But
It hurts me much more seeing you look at me like you're about to cry.
then don't let yourself get hurt like this. That was such a dangerous way to fight. I knew you wouldn't have won if you hadn't done that, but it was still bad for my heart. I need to complain about it at least once for my own peace of mind.
All I ever do is make you worry. Sorry.
Tojo said this before. His gaze snapped back to the temple school.
Right, the children.
Let's go. He stood up and took off running, paying no mind to his wounds. I followed after him. We hurried back to the room where we found the children and Tanichibo lying on the ground. The cocoon-like black threads that covered them from head to toe were already gone. The children's right hands were a horrific color. Must have been kickback from defeating the Blightfall they had been forced to summon. However, their arms were healing right before my very eyes. Proof, perhaps, that the effect of the Blightfall was waning as well. In other words, they'd been completely freed from the kidnapping god's spell. Their fingertips were still covered in blood after having their fingernails ripped off, but they didn't seem to have any other external injuries. Are they all okay? I approached the child closest to me and gingerly touched his cheek. He was warm and still breathing. He's alive. I was completely, utterly relieved. We saved them from the worst possible outcome. I saw relief wash over Tojo as he made sure the other children were safe. The child in front of me groaned softly, his eyelids quivering. Oh, are you okay? He slowly opened his eyes and looked at me. First he seemed out of it, then things started to come into focus. Oh, it's you. Glad to see you're conscious. The children around him were also beginning to wake up one by one.
You're all okay.
What happened to me? I felt like I was having a weird, bad dream. Yeah, a bad guy was commanding me to control monsters. It was so scary.
It was. I'm so proud of you all.
Tojo held the children tight as they started to cry. Seeing this made me tear up too.
Whoa, cut it out!
Tanichibo woke up with a start and looked around the room in a panic. Tanichibo, are you okay? Huh? I thought I was attacked by these black thread things. Was that a dream? No, it wasn't a dream. What about my son? Is my son safe? The children's parents came rushing into the room. Whoa, such force. They'd apparently seen the battle at the temple school from afar and came running over as soon as they knew it was over. Thank you so much, Tojo. I owe you apologize. Apology. Fuck, I'm sorry. My apologies for my apology. I owe you an apology since you saved my son. Please excuse all my impolite behavior. I sincerely apologize for arbitrarily suspecting you of anything.
It's alright. Please just help me tend to the children for now. I'm sure they missed you all.
I could hear the joyous voices of families reunited all over the room. As Tojo and I moved to the corner so we wouldn't intrude, we found ourselves nestling up to each other. I glanced up and saw Tojo watching the family reunions with a peaceful look on his face. What a relief.
You can say that again.
Suddenly Tojo took a tumble.
Tojo?
I managed to prop him back up, then sat down with him on the tatami mat. Men are so heavy. Thought he was going to take me down with him. Tojo, do your wounds hurt?
Nah, they're fine. I was just a little dizzy. Guess I was just so relieved all my strength left me. How pathetic am I? If you hadn't been there to hold me up, I would have collapsed to the ground.
It's not pathetic at all. I'm actually kind of glad. Tojo smiled with his eyes, looking a bit amused.
Mind if I ask why? You want me to pass out and spill all over the floor? You think that'd be funny? Huh? Huh?
You're always the one supporting me. Made me happy to support you for the first time ever.
What are you talking about? You've always been there for me. I was only able to push on ahead because of your support. I never would have made it this far without you. You gave me hope, Soup. I didn't give up hope even in my darkest moments, thanks to you.
I'm so glad I was helpful.
I was able to defeat the kidnapping god because you were there. I can't imagine where we'd be right now if you weren't.
Tojo slowly peered into my face, looking deadly serious.
I want to be there for you too. Whatever painful or sad things might happen to us in the future, we'll get through them together. And share each other's happiness.
He gently took me by the hand.
Down.
Let me say it one more time, Soup. I love you.
Tojo? Genuinely bashful, I looked around in a panic. Having someone confess their love to me in front of the kids and their mothers was incredibly embarrassing.
Embarrassed? No one's looking at us.
It was true. They were all so happy to be reunited that no one even noticed we were talking. Still, do you have to say that here?
I've been waiting for this moment ever since you turned me down. I just wanted to tell you a little sooner. I might disappear someday. That's still in the cards for me, but there's no doubt in my mind about my love for you, right here, right now. I'd do anything to spend my life with you. I'll search long and hard for a way to keep from disappearing. I won't abandon you. Won't you please say yes?
He politely lifted my hand and planted a tiny kiss on my fingertips.
I love you, Soup.
This is so embarrassing, my heart's racing, but It was completely different from the time when he confessed his feelings for me earlier. Well, I wouldn't say I'm displeased to hear you say that.
Then does that mean?
I nodded shyly. I've always liked you.
Really, Soup? I'm not dreaming?
You're not dreaming. Seeing him rejoice like that, like a little kid, put a smile on my face. Oh, this is stinking cute. Come on, me! Kamami had perked up quite a bit too. She was flying around us happily, not picking Tojo for the time being.
Seems like Kamami's giving us her blessing.
Thank you, Kamami.
She's so cute.
It's sweet. Final chapter, Kunitaka Tojo. Rows of shops overflowed with colorful wares, alive with shoppers making their selections. Several months had gone by since all the turmoil caused by the kidnapping god, and the city of Edo was back to its old animated self.
What? Did something amusing happen?
Hey, look, I've never seen him in that before. I'm just happy to see the city looking so lively again. Tojo quietly took in his surroundings upon hearing my response.
It sure has. Not just Castle Town. A lot of people have come back to Samurai Town recently too. Many houses are still under repair, but that also means there's been more work for the civil laborers and lumber dealers. I hear they're actually been doing quite well.
I feel bad for anyone whose house was destroyed, though. The one silver lining was that in spite of all the turmoil, there hadn't been a single death. The people of Edo were getting over their fears and probably would forget what happened before too long. Or at least I hope so. I would call it out of sight, out of mind, but our battle against the kidnapping god has felt like a dream lately. Although it's only been a few months, the flow of time was an incredible thing.
Do you have any other shopping to do today?
Oh, yeah. So we brought sake, miso, and also asked them to bring the rice to the house. We're good on everything else. I'm sorry I made you go shopping with me, though.
What do you mean? You ought to have a man around to carry all your bags. No way I'll let you carry anything heavy with those slender little arms of yours.
He said this while carrying the sake miso salt and a few other heavy items like vegetables in his arms with ease. On the other hand, I was carrying nothing but dried fish and tea. I tried to carry... Ooh, balloon. I tried to carry... I tried to carry some of the heavier things, but Tojo had taken all of them from me. I can carry heavy things since I was raised in the mountains, you know. You're too protective. I glanced up at him resentfully. Tojo looked away like he had no idea what I was talking about. Seemed like he had no intention of letting me carry heavy groceries. Maybe like my grandma. She used to say, "Don't pick up heavy things, your vagina will fall out." She did say that. Hey, you two, you married? You seem close. Love it. Married? I squeaked, caught off guard by what he said. I was incredibly flustered, since I never expected anyone to mistake us for a married couple. He asked if we were married. Rather than bother to correct his misunderstanding, Tojo whispered excitedly into my ear. We just got some nice, lively soft-shelled turtle today. If we run out of energy, sir, I'll let you have some for cheap. Soft-shelled turtle? Why is he recommending that? Tojo shrugged at the shopkeeper while I stood there puzzled. Thanks, but I don't think I need to depend on any soft-shelled turtle. So does someone else who does. Ooh, you're awfully confident. I'm jealous. Haha. Is that an innuendo? I think I looked it up then, but I couldn't find anything. Okay, I was like... I think that was an innuendo, right? Right? Nah. I don't need that. My pay works. He stopped trying to make a sale to Tojo and left to go pitch his wares to another passerby. Huh? I didn't quite understand their conversation just now. He's jealous that you don't need a soft-shelled turtle? You must have had the wrong idea. Don't think too hard about it. I'll explain it some other time. Then tell me now. I want to Then tell me now. I want to be able to explain it to the kids at the temple school if they ever ask me about it. They won't ask you. And if they do, it's fine. I'll explain it to them. Wait, why? I wasn't looking ahead of me because I was trying to hound him. Come here, Sue. All of a sudden, Tojo grabbed me by the shoulder and pulled me into his embrace. He ate me so hard I collapsed into his chest. Right at that moment, someone ran past us. If Tojo hadn't pulled me into his arms, it would have hit me. He saved me. He was still holding all the heavy bags, too. That took some serious skill. Are you okay? I am, thank you. And here I thought you had it all together. You can be a real klutz sometimes. Yeah, I can be. I feel like he saved me from tripping or getting hit countless times. Oh well, I think it's cute. Oh, he's blushing. Well, if you think so. We looked at each other bashfully, then both smiled. I kind of love when stuff like this happens. Reflected to myself when... Kinji? My, you two are being awfully friendly out here in the street. Being spoken out of the blue made me jump. Oh, Kinji. Goodness, you're mad for each other. Kenji? I mean, Kenji? I was shocked to see someone I never expected to turn up. Don't tease her too much, Kenji. She's not used to it. I suppose you're right. She seemed puzzled by the soft-shelled turtle. You've been eavesdropping that long? I just happened to be passing by. I don't often see you in Castletown. Something happened today? Just doing some shopping. I didn't think I would run into you here either. As a bystander, you two look like a happy married couple. Someone said married again. Kenji stared off into the distance, paying little mind to how thrown I was by this. I'm terribly jealous of you and Otaro for going your own way. He's a pretty carefree guy. He is. I agreed in a rather vague terms, not quite sure what they're talking about. Yes, Otaro was a carefree guy. I'll take my leave now. Come by the theater now and then, won't you? Kenji beamed and promptly left. As I watched him go, I couldn't help thinking about what he said earlier. Do we really look that much like... Do we really look that much like a couple?
Does it bother you?
Well, no. I responded, my face bright red. Tojo gently placed his hand on my shoulder. I used to think he was treating me like a little kid when he did this, but I didn't mind it anymore. I learned to feel all the love that went into this gesture.
You must be tired. Why don't we stop by a tea house on the way home?
Oh, in that case, what about the tea stall where Miharu works? It's actually not far from here.
Sure, let's go see her. It's been a while.
Okay, I'm sure she'll be glad to see us too. We headed there, walking close to each other. When we stopped by the tea house, Miharu was much happier to see us than I expected. Would have never guessed why she was so happy either. She said, "My oh my, I was wondering who that cute young couple was. You finally nabbed Tojo? Nice going." We spent a few peaceful hours at the tea stall. Another thing, after the whole kidnapping god mess, I started living at Tojo's house. Ayo, Kamami seemed to like it there too. I happened to see her sunbathing, looking rather content. Speaking of Kamame, she's been a lot more subdued around Tojo lately. It was true, in the beginning she used to flee or attack Tojo the moment she saw him. Now she only pecked him 2 times today. Progress. Wait, will you really call that subdued? Still, compared to the very beginning, I decided not to give it too much thought. A little while later, we headed for the temple school. Tojo continued to run the school just like he had before. I'd also been helping him out every day recently as part of my teacher training. The children who'd been injured by the kidnapping god had all recovered. They were nervous wrecks in the beginning, but it seemed like time had lessened the frightening memory of the whole ordeal. Now they were much better in attending school.
Time! Oh, Kamami's so cute! Wait!
The kids were holding oyster catchers and playing with Kamame. Kamame had become a pretty good flyer since the incident, just like a normal sparrow. Her wounds had already healed. The rest was all in her head. She usually perched on my shoulder like a rice cake, but frequently joined the children's games. Because of this, she was considered Temple School's mascot of late.
I'm glad Kamame can fly now.
For sure.
The most important thing is that Kamame seems happy. She has a larger arsenal of attacks now that she can fly. That's a relatively minor problem.
Now that you mention it, she definitely learned to crash into you with her beak.
She's been attacking me less. It does hurt pretty bad when she manages to hit me, though.
I'll make sure to tell Kamami more often not to attack you.
Thanks. Maybe she's just getting carried away now that she can fly.
In spite of the sheepish way Tojo said this, he still forgave Kamame.
Okay, everyone, playtime's over. I'll be starting class soon.
Okay!
Children gathered around Tojo, then went back inside. Kamame came back to me and perched on my shoulder, looking proud of herself. Let's go. Good job keeping them company. Class got off to a relaxed start. We went about giving each child individual instruction as usual. The kids sat down and got to work studying. Some copied passages while others practiced arithmetic. Every now and then they chatted with whoever sat next to them. Tojo had the kindest, gentlest look on his face as he tutored the children. Seeing his expression made me happy too. I felt a small tug at my kimono sleeve. I looked and saw that the smallest child, who'd only just started attending a little while ago, was pulling on my sleeve. One of my tea time companions had mentioned sending her own child to the temple school earlier. Her son actually had started attending. Miss Master, what's wrong? Can you show me this? He hesitantly offered me a copybook with a few characters written on it. It looked like there was a part that he wasn't sure how to write. He seemed to find Tojo hard to approach based on how he asked me things all the time. I'm glad he trusts me with this even though I'm still in training. I knew he'd probably get used to Tojo before long, but for now I was overjoyed to have someone counting on me. This is the part you don't get, right? Here, let's write it from the beginning together. Sure, thanks. I cheerfully showed him how it was done. Class continued like this for a while. Then Kamame, who'd been quietly sitting on my shoulder the entire time, suddenly flew outside. Kamame, what's wrong?
Ah, Yoichi!
Whoa, don't pounce on me out of nowhere like that. Oh, is that Yoichi? A familiar face emerged from the veranda. Kamame must have realized Yoichi was coming and left to go greet him. She was flying happily around him, clearly as fond of him as ever.
Ah, I knew you'd be here. How goes it?
Tominari and Kuga also appeared at me from behind Yoichi. And Tominari and Kuga too!
Hey guys, you came to see me?
I guess. Genjuro and I were heading back to the Oniwaban base to give our reports. Just thought we'd stop by. A perfectly content Kamami perched on Yoichi's head while he said this.
And I came along because I ran into them in front of the school. Looks like we are interrupting class, though. Shall we come back another time?
Nah, don't worry about it. I was just thinking of taking a break anyway.
Tojo turned towards the children and began to speak.
Okay, everyone. Break time now. You can play or rest, whichever you like.
Yay! Let's play Kotoro over there. I'll play. Oh, let me join.
I want to play too.
Let's go to the yard, guys.
We watched the children dash off, a heartwarming sight. It seems peaceful around here.
Looks like you had more kids than before.
Well, the kids started attending after the whole kidnapping god thing. The other children seem happy to have a younger boy in the mix.
Glad to hear the temple school's reputation has bounced back.
Yeah, the parents who knew what happened went around denying any bad rumors about me. I'm really grateful for that. They believed me enough to trust me with their kids again, so I need to live up to their expectations.
I think you'll be fine.
What was that? You hardly say stuff like that to me. What a pleasant surprise.
I meant it because Soup's here too. I'm not sure you'll be completely fine on your own, Kunitaka.
Aw, come on.
I'm just joking. Well, half joking.
Which one is it then?
What a lovely moment. It was so comforting to watch the children playing outside. Meanwhile, Kuga pressed his lips into a hard line before turning towards Tojo again.
Kunitaka, I'm sorry about before.
Already apologized enough, it's fine. I would have reacted the same way in your shows. We're all the same in that regard.
Also, if you're wondering why Genzuru's voice is more stupid than I had it before, you'll see why in a... Well, it's for a stupid reason, but in a future video when we go for this guy. Kika stared at Tojo for a little while before speaking again.
How can you be so tearful about it in spite of everything you went through?
It's in my nature.
Seems so.
A gentle smile spread across Kuga's face.
By the way, how have you been lately? Been busy with work?
Pretty busy. They're letting me resume my samurai duties, and as you can see, the temple school is booming.
Pretty busy to include his Oniwaban job. After sorting out the whole kidnapping god mess, Tojo quit the Oniwaban for good.
Are you guys holding up? Everyone at Oniwaban doing well?
Yeah, we're great. We even had some free times on our hands lately. It is the very picture of peace in the moment. As you know, Whitefall appearances have gone down drastically since the kidnapping god was defeated. They still show up, but only 7 when there's been some kind of large dispute.
We were just on our way to give a pointless report on yet another uneventful day. Maybe we should switch up to only giving reports when something unusual actually happens. We don't have that much free time on our hands. We might start doing that soon. With less Blythefall around, there's no need for the Oniwaban to carry on exactly the same way we did before.
Would be nice.
That's right. Blythefall sightings had gone down since then. That had bolstered Tojo's decision to quit the Oniwaban. He couldn't use the snow sacrament anymore, but neither could Miyagi or Nobuta. his bosses had tried to stop him. He probably would have stayed and lent the Oniwabon a hand if they were. He probably would have stayed and lent the Oniwabon a hand if they had been short on men. But the times has changed. With Edo now at peace, he didn't feel a strong need to stay in the Oniwabon anymore. Tojo chose to retire. Now he was all settled into his new career as a samurai, in addition to being headmaster of the temple school. I love peaceful moments like these. No matter how many times I saw Tojo having a friendly chat with Oniwabon, it always made me happy. For a while, no one had believed him, and they had all regarded him with cold indifference. I hadn't thought they would ever be friends again. But for now, look at them, chatting like old friends. Even stopped by to visit, even though he quit. Remembering how precarious things had been back then made this moment even sweeter. So much has happened since then. When Lord Yoshimune regained consciousness after being critically wounded, he had also vouched for Tojo's innocence. Not only that, but Tojo had massively contributed to taking down the kidnapping god, the leader of the Blightfall, who was completely cleared of any wrongdoing. They had no reason to punish him. Naturally, they also overlooked Tomonari for disobeying orders to side with him. And about the whole turning vessels who regained their hearts and memories back into objects thing.
Still, I never thought I'd be exempted from the reimplementation ritual. It hasn't sunk in yet.
What would you have done if you weren't?
I'd buy an object. I would have taken soup and made a run for it. Wow, more reckless behavior. I agree that it would have been. Feasibility aside, I was dead set on running away.
Right, we basically would have eloped, which is making my heart go nuts! Just with to show how far he would have gone to live the rest of his life with me. It warmed my heart to hear him say that.
I'm glad we withdrew your punishment before you could pull off a boneheaded move like that.
Any vessel whose heart and memories were unsealed had to be scrapped because they were at risk of being taken over by Blightfall. With hardly any Blightfall, there was no longer any need to dispose of vessels either. As a result, the other Oniwabon had also been granted a certain amount of freedom.
They said we could do whatever we wanted, but I'm not sure how that's any different from the usual.
I've just been working like I did before. I'm fine with the way things are.
Optimus seems to be celebrating his newfound freedom.
Yeah, definitely.
When we ran into Kenji in Castletown earlier, he said he was jealous of me and Otaro.
Otaro was enjoying his freedom so much, in fact, that he skipped town to go on an aimless journey without so much as saying goodbye. I had no idea he was so spontaneous. Sounds like something he'd do, though. Not much we can do since he already left. He was so lovable, they forgave him anyway.
Speaking of which, what happened to that other guy, Tenichibo?
Mountains. Don't you think you let out a little too much? Added on to Tomonari's messy explanation for Yoichi. In light of his contributions to cracking the case, Tenichibo was forgiven for his crimes, including breaking out of jail. He's back in the mountains right now doing his training over again so he can be a proper Yamabushi monk.
Huh. Didn't expect him to be so serious.
We're having a lovely laid-back conversation because we had nothing to worry about now that all of the problems have been taken care of. About the biggest problem at hand, not knowing when Tojo might disappear. Once the kidnapping god mess was sorted out and Lord Yoshimune had recovered, he summoned Tojo and I to the audience chamber. I felt pretty nervous while waiting for Lord Yoshimune to arrive. Do you think we'll be blamed for what happened?
Don't be nervous. I'm sure everything will be just fine.
He's so reliable. Even in a situation like this, he's not bothered in the slightest. Or so I thought. Upon closer inspection, his eyes didn't seem to be focused on anything in particular. The corner of his lip was twitching too.
So he's visible threads. What color are the threads? Don't be nervous. I'm sure everything will be just fine.
He said it a second time. I knew it. He was nervous too. We didn't wait long before Lord Yoshimune arrived. He looked better than I expected. I'm gonna continue this tomorrow. We're so close to the end. It's not enough for like a whole other video. So I'm gonna return to record more tomorrow. Yes. We didn't wait long before Lord Yoshimune arrived. He looked better than I expected. Seeing his kind face made me a little less nervous. Long time no see, my lord. Are you feeling well?
Yes, thank you for your concern. I'm in tip-top shape, as you can see. I'm deeply sorry that I wasn't able to protect you, even though I was right there beside you. No worries, you did well. If anything, I'm the one who should be ashamed here. The Blightfall made quick work of me just after I'd run my big mouth to those vessels. Yeah, you're like, get me, I dare you. And lapses in security allowed ruffians to sneak in and place cursed objects around the castle. You're not at fault for that.
His unexpected show of gratitude made us both heave a sigh of relief. Didn't look like we'd be punished.
By the by, Kunitaka, how do you feel? Does anything feel different? Not at the moment. I'm not sure if being with soup as much as possible, like you mentioned before, has anything to do with it. I haven't shown any signs of vanishing. I see. And what happened to your mark?
For a second, I wondered what he meant by mark. Oh, right. That mark. The sign bestowed upon vessels in place of a wooden tag. But why would his lordship ask about that?
My mark? One moment.
Tojo started hesitantly taking his kimono off.
Huh? Why is he taking his clothes off?
Looked away, panicking, catching a brief glimpse of his naked upper body, which I'd never seen before, as it was hidden by his clothes, and made my face turn red. I heard Tojo gasp.
It's gone!
Huh?
I hurriedly looked at Tojo, shocked by what he just said. When I did, I saw Tojo had frozen with his kimono shifted slightly off his upper body and his eyes fixated on his lower back. Unlike Kiyoshiro, Tojo's mark appeared to be on his lower back, like a, I don't know, tramp stamp. With his permission, I took a peek. I didn't see a single mark on his skin. If you told me he used to have a mark there, I wouldn't have believed you. How long has it been gone?
I'm not sure. I didn't notice until his lordship pointed it out.
Upon seeing this, Lord Yoshimune nodded knowingly after giving it some thought.
I knew it. My lord, what could this possibly... Kunitaka, you've become human.
Not even a vessel? Human? The meaning of what he said didn't sink in right away. Tojo seemed to feel the same way. He remained still, blinking in confusion.
Human? What? You mean me? You mean the power of love turned me human? I don't know, I feel like Pinocchio.
It can't be. Is it true?
You seem surprised. It might be hard to believe, but it's not impossible. You are undeniably human now. You may relax. You are no longer in any danger of ceasing to exist. Yes, sir.
That was all Tojo managed to say in response. He looked down at his own hands in shock.
I'm human now?
Do you feel any different?
I don't. Now that you mention it, I guess it feels a bit different from when I was a vessel.
Corners of his mouth began to lift into a smile as reality slowly set in.
Human. I'm human. I can be with you forever without having to worry about disappearing, Soup.
Until the day they die. Tojo, that's great! Now we just have to worry about regular death!
We took each other by the hand and celebrated with no regard for where we were at the moment.
Well, you two seem happy, which is all that matters.
Tojo and I separated from each other in a panic. We were so happy we let ourselves get carried away in the presence of Lord Yoshimune.
My apologies, but how did this happen? Think of it as a miracle brought forth by the power of love.
I didn't realize you were such a cheeseball, Lord Yoshimune. Afterward, Lord Yoshimune explained quite a bit. He mentioned some members of the Hakaseki clan had possessed a power called the Coupling Covenant. Coupling Covenant, Within the Hakuseki clan, a few possess a special ability called the Coupling Covenant, which allows them to join hearts together. The specifics of this ability are unknown. It was highly effective on vessels who had broken the enchantment connecting their body and minds by regaining their hearts. In other words, vessels like Tojo. The way he speaks, it's like he knows everything. He had earlier too.
The two of you may be able to overcome this difficult circumstances step before you. Stay by Kunitaka's side, Soup. You possess the powers of the Hakuseki clan, which may hold the key.
How you knew that, Lord Yoshimune? That was what he said before. I know he established the Oniwaban, but why does he know all this? Lord Yoshimune, you seem very knowledgeable about vessels.
That's because he taught me.
Lord Yoshimune smiled slyly when I asked him questions. Our father? Or... It's still a mystery to me, but Tojo managed to become a human. And that's good enough for me. I'm so glad. For a while after, we continued catching up and gossiping with Tominari and the others.
Well, I think we stayed long enough. It's about time we head home.
Oh, should probably head back to work, Injuro. Thanks for handling today's report. You sure it's okay for me not to be there?
No, I don't mind. But what do you come all this... But what do you come all the way here for, then?
Alright, I could do without the lecture. Oops, my voice. Alright, I could do without the lecture. I'm heading back then. Later.
Thanks for coming to see us today.
I should get going, too.
See you around. Come back anytime.
After watching Yoichi and Kuga leave, Tominari turned towards us.
I'll head out, too, then.
I'm really glad you stopped by today. Come back and see us again.
If I feel like it.
I couldn't help but laugh at Tominari's attitude. Blunt as ever. You got a little tude. That's so like him. Just as he was about to leave, Tominari stared intently at me.
That reminds me. I wanted to ask you something. You want to ditch this guy and come with me?
What might that be? Curious, I waited for Tominari to speak.
Are you happy?
Huh? I didn't expect him to ask me that, so his question took me by surprise. Oh Lord, I don't know. This, and you know, he obviously feels for her, but like the thing, "Are you happy?" thing, it kind of reminds me of a. It's not romantic at all. Well, I guess because this happens in a relationship, but this book, which is also, I guess, also a movie, but like a book called Still Alice, and it's a heartbreaking book. It's about a woman with early onset dementia, and like, I think that's a bit of a spoiler. There's a point where like they're like, well, are you happy? Because I don't know. Should I? I don't know if I should, but it's heart-wrenching. Tominari stared right at me and didn't look away. The look in his eyes was dead serious. After taking a small breath, I told him, "Yes, I am." I was direct and didn't hesitate to say how I felt. I have the love of my life by my side, and all of you too. I'm really, really happy. I answered with a smile. Tominari smiled back, looking satisfied.
I see. I'm also glad I got to see you smile.
Tominari. I privately expressed how grateful I was for Tominari and his gentle smile countless times over. One bell hour later. Once class was over for the day, Tojo and I cleaned up the temple school as usual. Komame must have been all tuckered out from playing because she was fast asleep on the cushion. I'm gonna put these teaching materials here, and then... Whew, the kids are all studying as hard as they can. We need to prepare some new copybooks soon now, won't we?
We sure will. Running low on ink and practice paper too, so I should probably refill those again.
Shall we request more thread and cloth for sewing practice? I need to show the girls how to do that.
Oh, right. Boy, am I glad you're here. I wouldn't have been able to handle showing them how to sew by myself.
I'm just glad I'm able to help. They may be the daughters of samurai, but sewing is a required subject for girls. I would argue for anyone. So it could be really helpful, I feel. I told the boys I'd teach anybody who wanted to learn. Ayo, but none of them wanted to. I think the boys should know how to sew too, though. That's what I was thinking.
Well, the boys also have to learn how to fight, so they might not have room in their brains to learn how to sew too. Cut them some slack.
I think the girls should learn how to fight too.
Hey, oh.
I don't think it'd be a bad idea to teach the girls how to fight either.
Well, free reign might be our selling point, but I'd never hear the end of it from their parents if I let them do that.
True, that sounds rough. While we were talking, I suddenly remembered Tominari and the others stopping by earlier. That reminds me, Tojo. Your attitude towards Kuga feels a lot more organic than it used to.
Hmm?
You used to go over the top praising him because you felt so self-conscious around him. I feel like you stopped doing that recently. I mean this in a good way. It's a lot more normal now.
You're not wrong. I guess I put it all behind me. I completely forgot I felt self-conscious around him in the first place.
How'd you get over it?
How indeed. I get the sense I was worried about what everyone thought of me before. Not just Genjuro. Genjuro. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me anymore. Honestly, feel so much more comfortable now. Probably because I know I'm my own person now.
The threads around his neck had a relieved hue to them, which matched what he was saying. No doubt about it with that shade. I knew it wasn't fair of me to see people's emotions using their threads, so I grinned to myself.
What color are my threads right now?
Ah, he caught me. I only intended to take a quick peek, but there was no tricking the eyes of a former member of the Oniwaban. I'm sorry for looking.
It's okay. You can't help worrying about what color people's threads are when your powers make them visible to you automatically. That's exactly why I don't want to make you nervous because of whatever color my threads are. I want to devote myself to putting your mind at ease always.
Ah, no wonder he deliberately asked me what color they were. I could tell he was trying really hard for my sake, which brought a smile to my face. Well, your threads are a lovely fresh hue right now. A very comfortable color.
Is that right?
Then he reached out towards my face. And gently pinched my cheek.
You were grinning.
He pinched my cheek some more.
Glad you understand how I feel.
He said, letting go of my cheek.
I can't see threads, but I can tell that you're thinking by the look on your face. Like an open book.
That doesn't sound like a compliment.
It doesn't, but I think it's cute.
I still didn't feel like a compliment. It still didn't feel like a compliment, even though he was heaping on the praise. A little miffed, I struck back with a small counterattack of my own. You mean to tell me that you can tell what I'm thinking, but you had no idea how I felt about you before?
So, about that...
It's been somewhat effective. I followed up with another. You used to treat me like a little kid all the time, and you totally swept me off my feet when you kissed me that one time. It was my first one, too. Only meant to give him a bit of a hard time, but in the time it took to say that, I found myself feeling rather unhappy.
That was an accident. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't your fault either. It was an accident. Honestly, you shouldn't make it count. It shouldn't count at all, to be honest.
Tojo held his tongue, giving me a very serious look.
I did, didn't I? I'm sorry.
Hearing him apologize made me feel even more miserable. I know I'm the one who mentioned it, but I shouldn't have brought it up. Then he took me gently by the hand.
Soup, can I have a second chance? Can I smooch you? I'll redo your first kiss. A real one this time, not accidental bonking. Not bonking like bonking, but like regular bonking.
Huh? He didn't seem to be joking based on the way he was looking at me. The twist of events left me absolutely flustered. I didn't really mean it like that.
But I like to. May I?
He's coming on strong. He firmly made up his mind.
Come to think about it, we still haven't kissed now that we started going steady. I tried not to think about it too much because I didn't want to scare you, but... Ah, crap. I really feel like kissing you now that I'm conscious of it.
What now? I only meant to get on his case a little bit. He started looking sad, seeing me look so bewildered, probably because he thought I wasn't interested.
Soap, I'll take that's a no.
This was the first time I ever seen him looking dejected over me. He's like, I've been trying so hard not to seem miserable around me, so I think of him as somebody I can rely on. He was acting so pathetically right now, I almost felt bad for him. Which I found incredibly adorable. Unable to contain my feelings, I started to laugh. Tojo peered at me, puzzled.
You think this is funny?
Yeah, I never seen you like this before. It made me really happy. Tojo tilted his head. I'm not quite sure what I meant. I love him so much. Let's kiss? Before I knew it, I found myself saying this out loud. A bold proposition even for me. I wish I didn't get flustered saying these things, because it is really cute. It is cute. It's pure and cute. Tojo also seemed surprised. The moment I saw his face, the embarrassment came crashing down on me. Kind of sappy, but it's so cute. Now I'm embarrassed. Should I tell him never mind? But... well, this thought ran through my head. What? Tojo grabbed my arm and pulled me into his embrace. Tojo...
You're not seriously going to go back on your word, are you?
The feeling of his warmth breeze on my earlobe made me quake. She quakened. My heartbeat quickened and my body temperature was climbing higher every second. CG! Aww. When I looked down at the ground, too embarrassed to say anything back, he gently lifted my chin and looked at me close with an almost bittersweet look in his eyes. I'm sorry, bittersweet's an inside joke.
May I?
Oh, there's Komame in the background. Komame.
May I?
Yes. He tilted his head a little bit, then slowly made his way towards me. Although I was still a little nervous, I closed my eyes. Daw. It was a soft kiss. All our lips did was touch. In that moment, I succumbed to a very strange mixture of nervousness and exhilaration. And immediately after, a sense of happiness I'd never felt before. Tojo and I, this time, we finally... spurred on my own genuine feelings for him and pressed into his lips a little bit more. Even when I thought it was an awkward way of responding, no sooner did I feel Tojo smiling than he bit my lower lip. I let out a strange surprised sound and backed away in a panic. Why do you have to tease me like that? I glared at him resentfully, to which Tojo's shoulders shuddered in an odd way.
Couldn't help myself. You were being so assertive.
I feel like he's teasing me again. When I turned towards him, pouting, he placed his hand on my cheek to keep me from moving.
Don't pout like that.
Softly pressed down on my lips with his thumb.
I'd like another kiss if that's okay.
I sighed yes in my head. Oh, how could I possibly say no when my crush is the one asking me? I closed my eyes to show I consented. Tojo seemed to understand my signal. He placed his lips onto mine once more. The kiss was deeper and sweeter than the last. Enraptured, I surrendered myself into premonitions of happy days in the future. Komame noticing us, but pretended to be asleep. Cheap. I didn't see anything. Okay, so we're gonna get some, I think, let's see, only one bad end? Oh, yep. There's two of them. Sorrow End and Short Bad End. Load save file 2. Da, 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 da. Run! I screamed, desperate. Komame might get caught in the swath of black threads herself if she stuck around. Get away from here, Komame! Go somewhere far, far away! Komame then hopped back onto my shoulder, perhaps trying to help me. Stop it, Komame! Don't be stupid! She desperately tried to pull the black threads off of me with her tiny beak. Her whole body was burned. She must have been struck by whatever supernatural power was surging through the threads. Komame! Komame! I was a little relieved to hear her respond, however weak she sounded. Although she couldn't move, her life didn't seem to be in danger.
Looks like there's some kind of powerful curse on these black threads.
After ramming it with everything she had, she finally ran out of strength. Komame! Komame! Komame fell to the ground, her breath feeble and weak. She didn't even have the strength to move anymore. Still trapped by the swath of black threads, I couldn't even help her back up. Komame, I'm sorry. You did your best. Without even realizing it, I started to cry. My inability to save anything that mattered to me left me feeling completely hopeless. Just then, there was a shift in the struggle between Tojo and the kidnapping god, which he was still holding at bay. Tojo's sword was knocked out of his hands and stuck into the ground a ways away.
Damn it!
Without a weapon, there was no way he could fight. Tojo dashed to retrieve his sword. A swath of black threads came flying towards him when he did, which Tojo just barely managed to sidestep in time. The Blightfall took aim at him 2 or 3 more times. Unable to escape all of its attacks, he was eventually caught by the leg. The kidnapping god had been waiting for the moment he stopped moving. Tojo! My eyes opened wide in astonishment. The swaths of black threads sharpened at the end like a spear and thrust itself through Tojo's body. Then he fell limply to the ground. Tojo! Not like this! I can't be too loud! Tojo! Serious moment.
Are you okay, Soup?
I'm fine. And Komame, she's still alive. And we're worried about your wounds.
I'll be fine. I'm just sorry. I couldn't save the children, even though I promised Chie I couldn't do anything. And I dragged you and Komame into all of this, Soup. I'm sorry. I couldn't protect you. Tojo? No matter how many times I called out to him, he never responded. No! I'm sorry. The kidnapping god slowly opened its arms wide as though it were about to embrace everything. The black threads extending from behind it swallowed everything up. Tojo, myself, Tominari, Komame. We were quietly engulfed by the darkness. How did this happen? What should I have done differently? What did I do wrong? It's like slamming into it. You did something wrong, bitch. You chose the wrong answer.
Last thought I had before losing consciousness. Final chapter.
I couldn't see or hear anything. I couldn't feel anything either. Like I'd sunk into a bottomless pool of mud. Deep down in my heart, however, was a faint sense of unease, like an unextinguished ember. This burning ember of uneasiness scorched my heart. I had things to do. Now wasn't the time to be asleep in a place like this. I'm the face of someone who meant the world to me crossed my mind. Right. Soup. I gradually regained consciousness while reminiscing about her. It was like I'd been having a very long dream. When I woke up, my head felt incredibly fuzzy. Where am I? The void.
I sluggishly turned my head and my head and surveyed my surroundings, but I couldn't comprehend the situation I found myself in. I was in a very strange space. There was nothing. Nobody was there.
The world was a brilliant white as far as the eye could see, so white I could barely tell up from down. Dizzyingly bright light poured from every direction. It was utterly sublime. It's not giving me any terrible feelings, at least. In fact, it was almost comfortable. At the very least, I knew for sure I wasn't in any danger here. My fuzzy thoughts quickly came to focus. So either like he's dying, or like, I'm like, your brain is like either just like, I don't know, kind of like a heaven thing, or like your brain releases a lot of chemicals when you're dying. This is supposed to give you like a good sense, but also I remember Soup saying she thought the tentacles had a hallucinogenic effect, so yeah. When did I get here? I wondered as I stood up, trying to get a grasp on the situation. The ground. The ground beneath my feet was soft and unsteady, like I was floating in the air. What a strange place indeed. Seriously, where the hell am I? Am I dreaming? I checked what I remembered as I cautiously walked around. I'd definitely been fighting the kidnapping god until just a few moments ago, and I lost. I thought I died, but it looks like I'm alive. Was that all a dream? That battle hadn't been real. How long had I been dreaming? Since we located the children? Or since Lord Yoshimune was struck down? Or were those things part of this dream I've been having all along? Oh, that doesn't seem right. I unconsciously placed my hand where I'd been stabbed through the chest, but I didn't find a wound there. I was absolutely certain the battle actually happened. I could vividly remember being pierced by a swath of black threads, which was all the proof I needed. More telling, I was still in love with Soup. The fact that I felt that way about her proved those things had really happened. If they hadn't, I would have never fallen in love with her. Right, where's Soup? My footsteps quickened as I looked around for her. Oddly enough, I didn't feel uneasy about it. I instinctively knew she wasn't anywhere in this space. I just wanted to see her as soon as I could. I wanted to hold her in my arms and know for sure she was there. I can't believe she made me such a wimp. She seemed like a completely ordinary girl when I met her for the first time, back when we went to pick her up from her hometown. Even after working alongside her in the Oniwaban, I'd only ever thought of her as my teammate. She was a tiny, frail little creature. If anything, I put her in the same category as Komame in my head. She did seem to have special powers of some kind, although I didn't get my hopes up too high at first. But in spite of her unfamiliar surroundings, she did her absolute best at everything she could, and she used her powers to their fullest extent. I didn't realize until much later that even though she wasn't much of a fighter, her heart was much mightier than mine. Without her, I probably would have died when everyone suspected me in the beginning. I'd gone through such a hard time, but nobody believed I was innocent. Only she stood by my side and supported me when I was depressed and on the verge of giving in. She doggedly opposed the Oniwaban's decision in my defense. Her appearance belied a shocking amount of grit. We've even took on the kidnapping god together. Thanks to her, The days I spent with Soup were like a treasure sparkling brightly within me.
It makes me really happy to hear you say that. Here's to next time.
Can't wait to see it. My bad, it's probably smoky from my pipe.
Oh no, I'm fine. We gotta hurry up and catch the Blightfall Summoner so the kids can live in peace. Definitely not. Don't get discouraged. Live, Tojo. Do that, and maybe one day I'll return your feelings.
Reminiscing about being with her brought a smile to my lips. Oh, Soup, I really do love you. I deeply regretted that the seal of my heart hadn't broken sooner. If I just had my heart back, I would have accepted her feelings for me. Sadly, she turned me down when I told her how I felt after getting my heart back. She had grinned and said, "No, thank you." Yep, she did. She'd be stubborn too. Not that I was completely out of luck. She told me to make her fall in love with me again. After that, when I touched her. Are you feeling self-conscious around me because I'm a man?
I don't know. Let go of me.
Her reaction was so cute. She was clearly feeling self-conscious around me then. I might have still had a chance if I hadn't been so full of myself. No, even if I didn't, I couldn't just give up. My love for her would only grow. I spotted something up ahead of me. Something of a different color in the vast sea of white. Soap! I saw her collapse on the ground. Hurriedly across the soft, unsteady ground and picked her up. Soap, are you okay? She was still breathing regularly. I was relieved to know she was just sleeping. Thank goodness. I gently brushed away the hair in her face and stroked her cheek. Wake up. You're gonna catch a cold sleeping in a place like this. In spite of what I just said, I truthfully had no idea where this even was. It wasn't hot nor cold here either, meaning she probably wouldn't actually catch a cold. But none of that mattered. All I wanted was for her to wake up, and soon. When I gave her a gentle shake, her eyebrows furrowed slightly. Her eyelashes fluttered, and then she slowly opened her eyes.
Tojo?
Whoa, you're awake. She spaced out for a little while, then immediately gasped. She sat up in a hurry and looked around her. Her face was taut with fear.
Where are we?
Strange place, isn't it? Wide as far as the eye could see, and empty.
White? Is that what it looks like to you?
Didn't everything look like that? What was she talking about?
I knew it. It was hopeless after all.
Soup started trembling violently as she clung to me. What's wrong? Although slightly confused, I was also happy. I wasn't aloof enough to be completely unaffected when the woman I'd fallen in love was clinging to me. I held her close to put her at ease since she seemed afraid. It's okay. You aren't in any danger here. No need to be afraid. I said, taking another look around me. There didn't seem to be any danger. Maybe she was upset because she'd just woken up. I'll protect you no matter what happens. Don't worry, Soup. I spoke tenderly and rubbed her back to put her at ease. Then she looked up at me with tears in her eyes. Why are you looking at me like that? You have nothing to worry about. Or am I making you unhappy? Am I inadequate somehow?
No, nothing like that. Not at all.
Her eyes were closed as she was ruminating over something she couldn't find the words for. Her forehead pressed into my shoulder, as she turned around quietly and gave me a hug.
I love you.
She said it quietly, but she definitely said it. I was too shocked to respond, so she kept going.
I'm telling you this because I might not get the chance to say this ever again, and I don't want to have any regrets. I love you, Tojo.
I was so shocked I thought my heart would stop. I wasn't sure why she was saying this out of the blue. Why are you crying? Tears flowed down her face. Maybe she was overcome with emotion. I wiped away her tears with my finger, but they just kept falling, one after another. Seeing her look so touched on my behalf only made my love for her grow even stronger. Although it bothered me that she said I might not get the chance to say this ever again, I wasn't quite sure what she meant. What you see is not what she sees. You're probably dying and there's chaos all around. It was a minor nitpick compared to the joy of hearing that my beloved felt the same way I did. Soup, I do too. I love you with all my heart. I held her tight, careful not to put too much muscle into it. I'm sorry I didn't return your feelings from the very beginning. He's probably bleeding out all over her too. I wouldn't have hurt your feelings back then if I only had my heart back. From now on, we'll be together forever. I'll never leave you. Ever.
Tojo.
When she looked up at me, she was most definitely crying. What did I do to make you cry like this? All she did was feebly shake her head and cry when I asked. Any questions I had about why she was crying immediately vanished. Even the happiness filling my heart had numbed my mind. I love you, Soup. When I kissed away the tears on the corner of her eyes, her shoulders shuddered a bit. She's seriously so cute. An emotion, not unlike instinct, took over. Pretending to follow her tears down to her face, I barely Ooh. Wait, what? I like that. Ooh. Barely grazed her lips with a kiss. I pointed another one of her unconsciously parted lips to keep her from saying anything else. Although she widened her eyes in surprise and let out a muffled cry, she didn't resist. Spurred on by my love for her, I gave her deeper and deeper kisses. First she seemed confused, but then she quickly began responding awkwardly and kind. Changed angles over and over again, obsessively, voraciously, placing my lips on hers. She rested her arms around my back, clutching at my kimono like she was trying to hang on. And desperately accepted my kisses. It was so noble and adorable of her. I could barely stand it. This was a joy I'd never experienced in my entire life. Maybe it was the euphoria, but everything around us seemed to shine terribly, blindingly bright. Just I was wishing this moment would last forever. Ooh, that actually made me jump. The sound. Something felt wrong. I blinked, still delirious from kissing her. A repulsive scene appeared before my very eyes. What the? I stopped impulsively kissing Soup, holding her even closer to protect her. Black threads carpeted the ground near us so thickly we couldn't budge a single inch. But that wasn't all. The gruesome bodies of children and the only one were scattered all around. So that's why the ground was squishy, my dude. There was a strange noise, and blood, flesh, and pieces of kimono rained down. I looked up and saw the kidnapping god above us. It stretched black threads into a web-like nest where it sat high above us, holding something in its hand. The second I realized it was holding a human, it crushed them in its grip. Had what I seen earlier been a dream? Well, this was reality. Was she crying because this is what she saw? I stared for a short while and shut before looking away. I was no longer interested in who would die or what would happen to Edo. I don't care if I'm in hell right now, as long as I'm in hell with you. I gently held her head so she wouldn't see any more of this. All she needed to see was me. Dang, okay. That was very lighthearted. Okay, time for the short batting. If he touches me anymore, my head might actually start boiling. My face was proudly bright red about right around now. Not from my fever, but for psychological reasons. I turned over and... Ooh. So he wouldn't see how much he showed me blushing. I turned over and looked the other way so he wouldn't see how hard I was blushing. Sorry, didn't care for that. Huh? I thought I succeeded in casually turning my face away, but I guess the cat's out of the bag. Crap, that gave him the wrong idea. I'm sorry. No, it didn't upset me. I was just a little embarrassed. Tojo's face softened to the look of relief when I gave him a flustered apology. Huh. Were you? Tojo really is a nice guy. Made me happy, of course, that he was so kind to me. I spent so much of my life living all by my lonesome that it made... Oop, there we go. Woo! Tojo seemed a little nervous. I could see his threads. That reminds me. That happened back in the village, too. I thought back to when I lived in the village. The villagers were spooked because I told them I could see their emotional threads. They scorned me as a mind-reading demon who peered into other people's thoughts. In other words, I might freak Tojo out if I tell him the truth right now. I didn't want to hurt his feelings, but at the same time, I didn't want Tojo to hate me either. I just happened to see them. I can't see them anymore. I resorted to lying. A white lie, but a lie nonetheless. Or at least that's what I told myself. Oh, really? Tojo's expression softened a bit, apparently relieved by what I just said. The color of his threads also showed how relieved he was. I'm glad I didn't tell him the truth after all. I'll just keep quiet about being able to see his threads from now on. Huh? Because Tojo is a precious friend of mine.
couldn't simply watch in silence while my friend was suspected of something and disposed of. And if I weren't on his side, he'd be all alone right now. I know better than anyone how difficult and lonely it is to be all alone. I didn't want him to go through all that pain too. I firmly expressed my opinion.
That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you.
Tojo had been sitting next to me listening while I spoke openly. He looked torn. The threads around his neck, however, were the colors of relief and joy. I was overjoyed to know that even someone like me could be there for Tojo. Lord Yoshimune nodded with satisfaction at what I said before turning towards Tojo. Nyeh. Tojo sat down beside me with a distant look in his eyes.
Man, it's been a long day.
It sure has. Aren't you tired?
I'm trained for this. I might not be useful as a vessel anymore, but I still take great pride in my stamina. Aren't you tired? We've been through a lot today.
I'm fine. Don't take my mountain upbringing lightly.
Noted. I underestimated you.
I could see Tojo starting to crack a smile while we talked, but then he steeled himself once more.
I already know this, but come tomorrow, we'll be facing off against the kidnapping god.
I nodded solemnly.
I'm not sure if we'll get the Oniwaban's cooperation, but we don't have many people on our side. Never mind whether or not we'll win this fight. All we can do right now is cross our fingers and hope doing this will crack the case. I want to save the kids no matter what it takes.
Me too. We have to rescue them. I'll do everything I can to help too. I might have to be useful in battle, but my powers have to be useful for something. Tojo made a face like he was thinking about something. Is something the matter?
No, nothing. You hated it when I treated you like a little kid, didn't you?
Aw. He whispered this like he only just remembered, then gently placed his hand on my head, and tenderly kissed my hair. After watching me turn beet red and started panicking, Tojo smiled sweetly at me.
We'll be up early tomorrow, so let's go sleep. Night, Soup.
Good night. My heart was still racing because it was all so sudden. It took me completely by surprise. There was no way I could sleep like this. He's not treating me like a kid anymore, that's for sure. I kind of get the sense that he's teasing me, though. I stared a bit resentfully at Tojo, who had already closed his eyes. The next morning. Tojo was already gone when I woke up. I guess he woke up before I did? I looked around the house thinking he had, but no one was around. Tominari and Tanichibo were gone too, not just Tojo. They'd been keeping watch over the temple school one at a time, so it seemed odd that all three of them were gone. I was suddenly overcome with worry. Tojo wouldn't have lost his form and vanished, right? Kamame seemed to sense something was off too, because she was looking around nervously. I glanced over and noticed a letter placed on the cushion where Kamame had been sleeping. That letter wasn't there yesterday. I looked it over and noticed it was addressed to me. As I read over the letter, I could feel the expression on my face grow more and more tense. The letter said that he left me behind after discussing the matter with Tominari because he didn't want me to be in any danger. Because I can't fight like everyone else. It went white as a sheet. I gotta go. I rushed out of the house in a panic, carrying Kamame with me. Why? Why? I ran towards the temple school like my life depended on it. I had a bad feeling about all this, feeling that something was happening that couldn't be undone. Confused, I stopped in my tracks. There was absolutely nothing where the school should have been. I walked around thinking I might have just come to the wrong place. No matter how hard I looked, I couldn't find any sign of the guys, let alone the school. No way. How could this be? Tojo! Tominari? Tanichibo, where are you? Tojo? Tojo! Again, I can't be too loud, unfortunately. I called his name frantically, but he never responded. Several Oniwaban, including Kiyoshiro, eventually arrived on the scene. They were also perplexed that the temple school had simply vanished. They asked me what happened and where the Tojo and the rest had gone, but I wasn't able to answer any of their questions. I never saw Tojo again. Why did things have to end like this? No matter how many times I racked my brain, I was never able to come up with an answer. Oh, we know what happened. She ended up on the other side of the barrier, so they all died inside. But find them again, like, didn't retrieve the bodies after or anything? Like, bodies weren't there? I don't know. But yeah, we finished Kunitaka's route. Yawn. I think like the extras aren't like side stories or anything. They're just like his information. Yeah. With art, that's cool. Aww. It's sweet. Okay. So the next route, oh, okay, check my face, please. The next route is, what's his name? Ginjuro's. I already started it It's just, you know, I was missing some of Tojo's routes, so yeah, I had to do it over. But yeah, next time we're back with Winter Wish, it'll be Ginjuro's route, and as forewarning, I'm sorry. If you like Ginjuro, I'm sorry. That's it. Okay. See you next time. Bye.